Pay attention, in 168 AD, the most powerful man alive, the Emperor of Rome, commander of 30 legions, ruler of 60 million souls, sat alone in a military tent on the frozen banks of the Danube River. He wasn't writing battle orders, he wasn't counting gold, he was writing to himself. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. His name was Marcus Aurelius. And here is what makes this almost unbearable to understand. Nobody was supposed to read those words ever. He wasn't performing wisdom, he wasn't building a reputation, he wasn't trying to impress anyone. He was the most powerful man in the known world, and he was writing private letters to himself about how to be better, how to be worthy, how to deserve the respect that had already been given to him by birth, by title, by empire. That is the difference between the people who are genuinely respected, deeply, permanently, without politics or performance, and the people who are merely tolerated. One group performs worth, the other one builds it quietly, privately, painfully, in the places where no one is watching. And today that is exactly what we are going to talk about. 8 behaviors. 8 behaviors that Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, Seneca, and the most powerful Stoic minds in human history all pointed toward. Each one carved from 2,000 years of observation about what separates the people who command rooms from the people who beg for scraps of attention. If you stay until the end of this video, not because I'm asking you to, but because what you're about to hear will refuse to let you leave, you will walk away knowing exactly why people have been underestimating you, how they've been doing it with your silent permission, and precisely what to do about it. Not with declarations, not with speeches, not with a dramatic reinvention of who you are, with 8 quiet behaviors that rewrite the curriculum you've been teaching people without realizing you were teaching it at all. Stay close. This goes deep. Intro Bridge 055-230. Before we begin, I need to tell you something that most personal development content will never say to you because it's uncomfortable. You are not disrespected because people are cruel. You are not overlooked because the world is unfair. You are not undervalued because you haven't found the right people yet. In most cases, in the overwhelming majority of cases, you are treated exactly as you have quietly, unconsciously, persistently taught people to treat you. Every small surrender, every boundary dissolved under pressure, every time you laughed at a joke made at your expense, every time you waited for permission to take up space, you were already standing in. You were teaching, they were learning. And the terrifying, liberating truth of Stoic philosophy, the truth that Epictetus, who was born a literal slave and died one of the most respected philosophers in Rome, lived and breathed every single day, is this: you cannot control what people do to you, but you are almost entirely responsible for what you have shown them they can get away with. That is not blame, that is power. Because if you taught it, you can unteach it. Not with confrontation, not with ultimatums, with 8 behaviors that quietly, undeniably, permanently rewrite the lesson. Let's begin. Number 1, you keep every promise you make to yourself, especially the invisible ones. In ancient Sparta, there was a practice that most history books gloss over. Before a warrior was trusted in battle, before he was trusted to guard his brother's flank, to hold the line, to be the man another man died beside, he had to pass one test above all others. Not strength, not speed, not combat skill. He had to prove that when no one was watching, he did exactly what he said he would do. Because the Spartans understood something that most modern psychology is only now beginning to confirm. The promises you keep in private are the architecture of the person you become in public. Think about your private commitments, not the ones you've announced, the ones you've whispered to yourself at midnight. I'll wake up an hour earlier tomorrow. I'll finally have that conversation I've been avoiding. I'll stop letting that pattern continue in my life. I'll finish what I started. How many of those promises are still waiting for you to keep them? Now, here's the piece that will sting. The piece that is not commonly said. Every time you break a promise to yourself, your nervous system records it, not philosophically, neurologically. The brain's threat detection system, the same ancient hardware that kept your ancestors alive on the African savanna, registers self-betrayal as evidence that you cannot be trusted, not by others, by you. And when you cannot trust yourself, you walk through rooms differently. You speak with a slight hesitation. You shrink from conflict, not because you're weak, but because deep in your cellular memory, you know you haven't proven to yourself that you'll follow through. People smell this, not consciously, but they smell it the way a dog smells fear, and they adjust their behavior accordingly. Epictetus said, first say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do. He didn't say announce it, he didn't say plan it, vision board it, journal it. He said do what you have to do. The Stoics had a word for this proheresis, the will that chooses and acts, not the will that intends, the will that moves. Marcus Aurelius wrote in his private journal, again a journal nobody was supposed to see, waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one, not tomorrow, not when conditions improve, not when motivation arrives. Be one. Here is what begins to happen when you start keeping your word to yourself, even the small ones. Your posture changes before you consciously decide to change it. Your voice stops trailing off at the end of sentences. Your eyes stop looking for an exit when a hard conversation walks into the room, because your nervous system now has evidence. Evidence that when you say something to yourself, you mean it. And that evidence, accumulated over weeks, months, years of invisible kept promises, becomes the bedrock of a presence that other people cannot explain but cannot ignore. Keep your word to yourself first, not because it will impress anyone, because the person you're becoming, while nobody is watching, is the only person who will show up when it matters. And the world, every room, every relationship, every moment of reckoning responds to who actually shows up. 2. You speak less than you know, and let the silence work. In 63 BC, a man named Cicero stood before the Roman Senate to deliver what would become the most famous speech in Latin history. Before he spoke, he was silent for a full, unbearable minute. Senators shifted in their seats. The air in the chamber grew heavy. Every eye locked onto him. Every mind in the room leaned forward. Then he spoke. How long, O Catiline, will you abuse our patience? That silence, that deliberate weaponized silence, contained more authority than the words that followed. Cicero understood what most people forget in the age of constant noise. What you don't say is often more powerful than what you do. The Stoics called it logos, not merely word, but the disciplined, precise, intentional use of language as a reflection of a disciplined mind. Epictetus taught his students that before they spoke they should ask 3 questions. Is it true? Is it necessary? Is it kind? Not just kind in the soft sense, kind in the surgical sense, useful, clean, without the waste of over-explanation that bleeds confidence from every sentence. Here is what over-explaining actually communicates. When you give a decision, and then immediately follow it with 5 justifications, 2 apologies, and a reassurance that you're not a bad person, you are not providing information, you are begging for permission. You are saying without saying it, I don't fully trust this decision. Please validate it so I can stop feeling uncertain. And the people you're talking to, even the ones who love you, register that. They catalog it. They learn that your answers come with handles, and handles are meant to be grabbed. The Japanese have a concept called ma, the art of meaningful emptiness, the power of the pause, the authority of the incomplete sentence that trusts the other person to hold the weight. A master calligrapher doesn't fill every inch of the paper. The space around the brushstroke is what makes the brushstroke beautiful. Your silence is your brushstroke space. When you say, I'm not available for that, and then stop, you've said everything that needs to be said. The air that follows isn't awkward, it's authoritative, it belongs to you. You filled it with your presence, not your anxiety. Practice this next time you decline something. Count your sentences. 1 sentence is enough. 2 sentences is generous. 3 sentences is the beginning of apology. Notice where you feel the pull to fill silence. That pull is the exact location of an unhealed wound of self-doubt, not a character flaw, a wound. And wounds can be treated. But the treatment isn't more words. The treatment is trusting that your presence, undefended, unexplained, complete, is enough because it is. It always was. 3. You do not chase what withholds itself from you. There is a story about Alexander the Great, the man who conquered the known world by the age of 32, that most people have never heard. In 336 BC, at the height of his conquest, Alexander traveled to the city of Corinth, specifically to meet Diogenes the Cynic, a philosopher who lived in a clay barrel, owned nothing, needed nothing, and was considered by many to be the wisest man alive. Alexander approached him with his army at his back and his generals flanking him on both sides. He stood before Diogenes and said, "I am Alexander the Great. Ask me for anything you wish, and it is yours." Diogenes, lying in the sun next to his barrel, looked up at the most powerful conqueror in history and said, "Stand out of my sunlight." Alexander the Great, the man who could destroy cities, topple thrones, rewrite the map of civilization, stood in silence, and then he said, "If I were not Alexander, I would wish to be Diogenes." Understand what happened in that moment. A man who had nothing, no title, no army, no palace, no status, commanded the complete respect of a man who had everything, not because he performed confidence, not because he made a speech, not because he tried to impress, but because he did not need a single thing that Alexander was offering. The Stoics built an entire philosophy on this principle. Apatha, not apathy in the modern defeated sense, but the radical freedom that comes from not being controlled by your desire for things outside yourself, specifically your desire for approval. Here is the behavior most people don't recognize as self-sabotage: chasing. Chasing the person who goes cold, chasing the friend who stops responding, chasing the colleague who withdraws approval, chasing the parent whose validation never quite arrives. Every time you chase, you teach. You teach them that your sense of worth is portable, that they are carrying it, and that they can weaponize its absence whenever they need something from you. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Never esteem anything as of advantage to you that will make you break your word or lose your self-respect. Try not to be careful about never." When you stop chasing, something counterintuitive happens. It feels at first like abandonment, like you've given up, like you're being cold, like you're failing the relationship. But what is actually happening is this: you are redistributing power. You are moving the thing they were withholding, your sense of worth, back into your own possession. And the moment you possess it again, you stop being someone they can manipulate with distance. And you start being someone they might actually want to move toward. Not always, not everyone, but the ones worth having, they notice. Stop chasing what withholds itself from you. Not because you don't care, because you know your worth isn't stored in anyone else's hands. Number 4, you hold discomfort without flinching and let people see you do it. In 65 AD, a man named Seneca received a letter from Emperor Nero. It said simply, "You are to take your own life." Seneca, the greatest Stoic writer who ever lived, the man who had counseled emperors, written 50 letters on the art of living well, built an entire philosophy around the mastery of fear, called his friends together. He ate dinner with them. He spoke to them quietly about philosophy. He told his wife he loved her. He dictated final letters to scribes. Then, with complete composure, he opened his veins. His friends wept. He asked them why. He said, "I have been practicing for this moment my entire life. Now I am not telling you this to valorize death or dramatic sacrifice. I am telling you this because Seneca's calm in the face of the worst possible moment was not an accident. It was not courage summoned in a crisis. It was a behavior practiced in 10,000 small moments of ordinary discomfort that nobody witnessed. Every time he sat with an uncomfortable truth instead of running from it. Every time he let a tense conversation breathe instead of rushing to resolve it. Every time he refused to fill silence with apology. Refused to smooth over friction with performance. Refused to let anxiety drive his actions. He was practicing, and when the hardest moment came, it was the same practice, just louder. Here is what most people do with discomfort. They fix it immediately, reflexively, Not because it needs fixing, because they need the relief. The room gets tense. They apologize even when they're right. A friend goes quiet. They immediately send 3 messages to patch the air. A difficult truth is in the room. They laugh it off, soften it, redirect, and every single time they teach the people around them, I cannot hold difficult moments. If you want to make me bend, just make things uncomfortable. The Stoics had a practice called mellow, daily meditation on difficult scenarios, not to become morbid, to become familiar. Familiar with discomfort, unafraid of hard air, fluent in the language of tense moments. When you can sit in a room where the temperature has risen and hold your ground without performing calm or visibly straining to appear unbothered, just genuinely quietly steady, something shifts. People stop using discomfort as a weapon because it doesn't work on you. And the ones who needed you to be fragile, the ones whose power over you depended on your need to smooth things over, they lose their leverage completely, permanently. Sit in discomfort. Not because it feels good, because the person who has sat in it 1,000 times is the most trustworthy person in any room. And trust, real, unperformed, earned trust, is the highest form of respect. 5. You release what has already ended before it empties you. In 212 BC, the city of Syracuse had fallen. A Roman soldier burst through the door of a small house near the harbor and found an old man crouched over a drawing in the sand. The old man looked up and said, "Do not disturb my circles." The soldier killed him. His name was Archimedes, and in the last seconds of his life, surrounded by soldiers in a city that had just been conquered, he was still working, still fully present to what he was doing. He was not clinging to what was lost. He was not mourning the fall of Syracuse. He was not frozen in the grief of the ending. He was here now, present to what remained. That is not indifference. That is mastery. The Stoics called it Amor Fati, the love of fate, not the acceptance of what has ended, the active embrace of it. Because what has ended has done its work, and you are still here to do yours. Now look at your own life. What are you still maintaining that has already ended? The friendship that runs now entirely on guilt and nostalgia, both of you performing a relationship that stopped breathing somewhere in the middle distance. The role you've outgrown professionally, personally, relationally that you keep showing up to play, because leaving requires you to claim something you haven't fully claimed yet. The version of yourself built around someone else's definition of who you should be. A definition that was perhaps useful once, or perhaps was never yours to begin with. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Loss is nothing else but change, and change is nature's delight." He lost his children. He lost mentors. He lost years of his life to war on the frozen frontier. And he wrote those words not from a place of detachment, but from a place of hard-won clarity. What holds you in what has ended is not love. It is fear wearing love's clothing. Fear that if you release it, there will be nothing to replace it. Fear that releasing it means it didn't matter. Fear that the people watching will mistake your letting go for giving up. Here is the truth. Releasing what has ended with dignity is one of the highest acts of self-respect available to you. It says, my time, my energy, my presence, these are not infinite. They are not freely available to anyone who simply occupies space in my history. They go where they are genuinely received. And here is what the people watching, the ones who matter, see when you do this. They see someone who knows the difference between loyalty and self-erasure. Someone who can honor what was without being imprisoned by it. Someone whose presence when offered means something because you don't distribute it without intention. End what has ended. Not with bitterness, not with announcement, not with a speech or a scene, with the quiet dignity of someone who finally believes their presence deserves to be somewhere it grows. 6. You receive what is good without shrinking from it. Epictetus was born in chains, not metaphorically, literally. He was born into slavery in Hyperopolis, a small Roman city in what is now Turkey, and spent the first half of his life as the property of a man who reportedly once broke his leg simply to demonstrate his power over him. Epictetus sat calmly as his leg was broken and said, "You are going to break it. Then did I not tell you that you would break it?" No rage, no despair, no begging, just observation, just the absolute unshakable steadiness of a man who knew exactly where his worth lived. And it was not in his intact leg, his freedom, or anyone's approval of him. Now, think about what you do when someone gives you something good, a compliment, a recognition, an expression of genuine admiration. What's your internal movement in that moment? What is the first impulse? For most people, it is deflection, immediate, reflexive, habitual deflection. Oh, it was nothing. Anyone could have done it. I actually nearly got it wrong. You're too kind. Really, every single one of those responses is a rejection. Not a humble one, a rejection. You are telling the person offering something good, your perception of me cannot be trusted. The positive experience you just had of my work, my presence, my character, it is mistaken. And underneath that, if you are honest, is something harder. A belief that receiving good things openly is dangerous. That agreeing with someone who sees your worth is arrogance. That letting something land without immediately cutting it down makes you someone who thinks too highly of themselves. Do you know where that belief came from? It was taught to you by someone somewhere, in some season of your life, who needed you to be small, and you learnt the lesson well, so well that you now enforce it on yourself without needing them present. Epictetus, the man born in chains, the man whose leg was broken, never spent a single moment of his philosophy teaching people to diminish themselves. He taught the opposite. Know first who you are, and then adorn yourself accordingly. Know who you are, and let that knowing show, not in speeches, not in arrogance, but in the simple grounded act of receiving what is true about you without flinching. Thank you. That means something to me. Full stop. No hedge. No immediate self-deprecation. No pivot to something smaller. Reflecting. Just a clean, open receipt. 2 seconds of letting yourself be seen as capable, as worthy, as good, without collapsing inward from the weight of it. The world reflects back what you show it, you believe about yourself. Show it something worth. 7. You respond from stillness. You never react from noise. In 48 BC, Julius Caesar's fleet was caught in a violent storm in the Adriatic Sea. The captain of his ship was paralyzed with fear. The crew was preparing to abandon the vessel. Men were praying, weeping, screaming over the sound of the waves. Caesar walked calmly to the captain, placed a hand on his shoulder, and said, "Fear nothing. You carry Caesar and Caesar's fortune. Whether you find Caesar admirable or not, whether his politics move you or appall you, that moment contains something that transcends politics entirely." In the middle of chaos, this man was the stillest thing in the room. Not because he didn't understand the danger, because he had practiced not being moved by what was merely loud. This is habit 7, and it may be the most powerful one. You respond from stillness. You never react from noise. Reacting is what happens when your nervous system has been handed the wheel. It's fast, it's emotional, it satisfies the immediate pressure of the moment, and it hands your power to whoever just pushed your button. Responding is what happens when there is a pause, however brief, between the stimulus and the action. That pause is not passivity. It is the most active thing a disciplined mind can do. The Stoics called it hegemeinikon, the commanding faculty, the part of you that watches, evaluates, and chooses rather than simply reacting to whatever fire the world throws at your feet. Epictetus put it precisely. It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. And here is the truth about reactivity that nobody says plainly. Every time you react immediately, every time you match energy, fire back in kind, defend yourself at full emotional volume, you communicate one thing above all others. You got to me, you moved me, you have that power over me. And the people who want power over you, the difficult boss, the toxic family member, the friend who tests limits, the stranger on the internet who wants a war, they learn that the button works, so they keep pressing it. But when you pause, when you hear something that was designed to destabilize you, and you breathe, and you become quiet, and then you respond with the measured, unruffled precision of someone who has not been moved, the button breaks. Not dramatically, they don't always see it happen, but you feel it, and slowly over time, so do they. Marcus Aurelius. Managing a senate full of political vipers, a military full of ambitious generals, and an empire full of crises that never seem to stop arriving, wrote this to himself. Begin the morning by saying to yourself, I shall meet with meddling, ungrateful, violent, treacherous, envious, uncharitable men today, but I shall not be disturbed by them. Not. I hope they don't bother me. Not. I'll try not to react. I shall not be disturbed. That is a decision made before the moment arrives. A decision made from stillness before the noise begins. Make that decision every morning before the noise arrives. Your stillness is not weakness. It is the deepest, most visible, most undeniable form of strength available to a human being. The world is always going to make noise. Be the stillest thing in the room. 8. You build your character in private and let it speak everywhere else. There is a final story I want to tell you, and it is the most important one. In 161 AD, Marcus Aurelius became emperor of Rome. He did not want the job. He had been a philosopher first, a ruler second, a man who genuinely believed that the life of quiet contemplation, rigorous self-examination, and private virtue was the highest life available. And yet the empire needed him, so he accepted it. He served for nearly 20 years. He fought wars he didn't want, managed politics he found exhausting, and carried burdens that broke lesser men. And every night, without fail, he returned to his private journal, not to write policy, not to record victories, not to document his own greatness for posterity. He wrote things like, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think. Confine yourself to the present. Never esteem anything as of advantage to you that will make you break your word or lose your self-respect. The object of life is not to be on the side of the majority, but to escape finding oneself in the ranks of the insane." This was a man who commanded the world. And the thing he worked hardest on, the discipline that consumed him most, was a version of himself that nobody saw. The private version, the version in the tent at midnight, the version in the pages of a journal he never planned to publish. That is habit 8, not a behavior that others watch you perform, a behavior you perform when the audience has gone home. You build your character in private, and then you don't have to announce it, manage it, or protect it. It speaks for itself everywhere, in every room, in every silence, in every moment when the pressure rises and the world watches to see what you're made of. Because what you built in private, that is what you're made of. The Stoics had a word, eudaimonia, often translated as happiness, but more precisely, the fullness of a life lived in accordance with your highest self. Not the self that performs for approval, not the self that shrinks to avoid conflict, not the self that reacts, chases, deflects, over-explains, and slowly disappears under the weight of everyone else's expectations. The self that was built quietly, consistently, painfully, in the 1,000 invisible moments that no one will ever congratulate you for. That self walks into rooms differently, not louder, not more aggressive, not performing confidence, just present fully, completely, undeniably present. The way a mountain is present, not trying to be impressive, just unmistakably there. And the people around you, they feel it before they can name it. They treat you differently before they can explain why. They lean in rather than lean over. They listen rather than test, because you are no longer someone who teaches them they can get away with underestimating you. You have, in the quiet architecture of your private life, become someone they cannot afford to underestimate. 8 behaviors, none of them loud, none of them requiring a dramatic reinvention, a confrontation, a speech, or a performance. Each one lived in the texture of ordinary days, in the promises you keep when no one is watching, in the sentences you end without apology, in the things you release before they hollow you out, in the stillness you choose when noise is what's being demanded. Marcus Aurelius never published his journal. It survived 2,000 years by accident, copied, passed from scholar to scholar, almost lost a dozen times. He was the most powerful man in the world, and the work he cared most about was invisible because he understood. because every great Stoic mind understood that worth is not announced. It is demonstrated quietly, consistently over time, in the way you carry yourself when no one is rewarding you for it, in the way you hold your ground when it would be easier to fold, in the way you become day by day the person whose presence cannot be ignored, not because they demand to be seen, but because they have built something in the dark that simply, undeniably, permanently radiates. That person is not a fantasy. That person is the version of you that exists on the other side of these 8 behaviors. You have been teaching people your worth all along. The only question that has ever mattered is, what lesson do you want them to learn? If this reached something in you, something that was waiting to be told the truth rather than told what you wanted to hear, leave one word in the comments. Unbreakable. No explanation, no essay, just that word. And if you haven't subscribed yet, do it now. Not for me, for the version of you that deserves to keep going deeper. Because what's coming next will not let you stay the same. Walk steady, build in silence, let the work speak.